All right. So again, just laying on the back, the feet wider than your hips, and then let the knees fall in, just coming together, letting them feel heavy against each other. And let's go ahead and just place both palms right over the belly and just start to notice your breath. Just feeling the belly rise and fall underneath your palms. Just taking this time to just settle into the mat. Feeling that support from the earth underneath you, just letting your body feel heavy. Relaxing through your jaw, through the neck and the shoulders. Just trying to let go of any tension you may be holding on to. Using your breath here to just breathe into those tight spaces in the body. Taking an even breath in through your nose and an even breath out the nose. Let's take 3 more full breaths here. Feeling the belly, ribs, and chest expand on your inhales. And soften as you exhale. And now go ahead and just let your arms rest at your sides. And just gently windshield wiper your knees, just dropping both knees to one side and then to the other, just going back and forth. The next time the knees drop towards the right, let them lower all the way down towards the ground, just coming into a gentle twist. Let those arms open out to a T. Heart is pointing to the sky. Just a few breaths right here. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, bring the knees back up to center and gently lower them down towards the left. Gentle twist on the other side, trying to keep the back of that right shoulder down towards your mat. As you exhale, bring the knees back to center, hugging both knees in towards your chest. If it feels good, just gently rock a little side to side. Continuing to keep the head and shoulders relaxed on the mat. And now keep hugging that right knee in and let your left leg straighten out onto the mat. Squeezing that knee towards your chest and just circle out that right ankle one direction a few times. And other direction. And now we're going to clasp our hands around the back of the right thigh and slowly start to straighten your right leg to the sky. Now I know it's morning, we're just getting started. If you're feeling a little extra tight, that is okay. You can have much of a bend in that right leg as you need. We're just gently bringing the knee towards the chest, just much as comfortable. And we're going to alternate here between pointing that right foot and then flex. So point toes to the ceiling and flex toes towards your forehead. Just back and forth here, feeling the stretch through the calf and then through kind of the front of the leg, the shin, the ankle. Take one more inhale breath. On your exhale, pulling belly to your spine, slowly lower that right leg all the way down to your mat. Pause here a moment and notice, just with that little stretch we just did, that right leg might feel a little longer than your left. And now let's go ahead and hug left knee to the chest. Squeezing that knee in, low back presses into the mat. Take a moment to circle out your left ankle one direction and other direction. And now begin to straighten your left leg towards the sky, just straight as you can, just holding on to the back of the thigh. And just like the other leg here, alternate between pointing that left foot and flex. Point toes to the ceiling, flex toes towards your forehead. Keep that going here. Today's practice, we're going to really focus a lot on stretching out those legs, specifically the hamstrings, the back of the thigh. Take one more inhale, pulling the belly in, exhale, slowly lower that left leg all the way down. Pausing here, notice if that left leg now feels just as long as the right. Keeping those legs nice and straight, reach both arms overhead. Take an inhale breath, full body stretch, fingertips to toes. And then roll onto one side, push yourself up. And let's make our way into our tabletop. So coming on to our hands and knees. Again, if you have blocks, I recommend grabbing those. And if you have your blocks, just place them near the top of your mat, just sitting on either side. Again, if you don't have any blocks, that is okay. I'll give you variations to do without. As we come into our tabletop, we're making sure we are stacking shoulders over wrist, hips over the knees. Spreading out through all 10 fingertips, pressing into your mat. As you inhale, let your belly drop, lift the chin and tailbone up. On your exhale, round the upper back, bringing chin to the chest, dropping your tailbone down. Again, inhale, drop the belly, heart forward, shoulders back, lift your gaze. Exhale, round the upper back, chin to the chest, pull your belly up. Now just flow back and forth here between your cat-cows. Your pace, just following your breath. Inhaling as you drop the belly, exhaling as you round. We use that focus on our breath just to help keep the mind clear. It helps us to be here in the present moment, really connecting with the body and just keeping our attention on what we're doing on our mat. So if you ever find the mind wandering or thoughts coming into the head, just come back to that breath. Inhale and exhale. Go ahead and take one more round of breath here. And then we'll begin to move in big circles, sitting back towards your heels, circling around one direction here. And other direction. Come back to center. Bring your big toes together to touch. Let the knees come out just wide as comfortable. Sit back, child's pose. So sinking the hips to the heels, reaching those arms out towards the front of your mat. Just melting the heart and forehead down. Take a few breaths. As you inhale, feel the torso expand and stretch. And then just soften a little closer to your mat as you exhale. On your next inhale, rise back up to your tabletop. Walk the hands back under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a moment just to sway the hips a little side to side. And now coming into stillness in our tabletop, we're just going to straighten our right leg back. Toes are pressing into the ground. You're pushing out through your heel. You can even rock a little forward and back. Feel that gentle stretch through your calf. And now let's switch. Bring your right leg in and let the left leg straighten back. Pressing those left toes into the ground. You're pushing that heel towards the wall behind you, maybe rocking a little. And now return back to your tabletop. Curling all 10 toes under. Walk your hands a little bit in front of the shoulders, and let's find our first down dog this morning, sending your hips to the sky. Take any movement that feels good here. Maybe it's pedaling out the feet, just stretching out one leg and then the other. You can even get a little movement through the hips, the upper body, looking under one arm and then the other. Again, we're just warming up the body here, getting that blood flowing. And now taking your time here, no need to rush. You can start to walk those feet up to meet the hands, coming into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Take a few breaths here. Just let that upper body hang heavy. Arms can either just dangle down or grab a hold of the elbows. Sway side to side. Let there be a generous bend in the knees. Soften through the neck. Head just hangs heavy. And now with your hands reaching towards your mat, bend into those knees even more. Feel the belly come against the thighs. On your inhale, start to straighten the legs and lift up halfway. Either letting the hands rest on your shins or your thighs. We're creating a nice flat back, lengthening the spine. Take another inhale. As you exhale, fold, generous bend in the knees. Let's do that again. Inhale, straighten the legs, come up halfway, torso parallel to the floor. Pushing the hips back. Inhale, breath. Exhale, fold and bend the legs. One more time. Inhale, straighten the legs, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold and bend. Now very slowly start to stand all the way up. Reaching your arms up to the sky, full body stretch. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. Good. From here, take your right hand and just place it on the right hip. Left arm is going to reach up and over to the right side bend. So those fingertips reach right, but the hips go towards the left, big stretch. As you inhale, come up through center, left hand on the hip, right arm reaches up and over to the left. Hips go to the right, pressing into that right foot. Good. Return back to center, both arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, hands to mat. Step back to a plank. Shoulders over wrist, body in a straight line. Now you always, when in a plank, have the option to lower the knees to your mat. Just make sure we're lowering the hips as well. So there's a straight line from the shoulders down to your knees. We're not sticking the butt back. Pulling your belly up to your spine, take an inhale breath. On your exhale, slowly lower down to your belly. Top of the feet, press into your mat, hands under shoulders, hugging the elbows into your sides. On an inhale, lift your chest, cobra, just going high as comfortable. As you exhale, release, nose to your mat. One more time, inhale, lift your chest, cobra, shoulders back. Exhale, release. Curl your toes. Inhale, up to your hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here. Again, any movement that feels good, or maybe just hold in stillness. On your next exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Generous bend in the knees. On an inhale, rise up halfway, straighten those legs. Exhale, fold and bend. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and bend. One more. Inhale, straighten, flat back. Exhale, fold and bend. Press into those feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Reach to the sky. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Again, right hand on your right hip. Left arm reaches up and over to the right. Side stretch. Inhale to center. Left hand on the hip. Right arm reaches up and over to the left. Good. Back to center. Both arms reach to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, step back to your plank. You can always lower the knees first. Inhale, breath. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Point the toes, top of the feet press down. Inhale, lift your chest, cobra, high as comfortable. Exhale, release. Curl the toes, push up to your hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. On your next exhale, make your way to the top of your mat, forward fold. Just one, inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Inhale, reach both arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, step back to your plank. You can lower the knees first. Inhale, breath. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Now your choice here, either inhale for cobra or this time upward facing dog, straightening your arms, thighs lift off the mat. Heart forward, shoulders back. And on your exhale, make your way to your down dog. Take a breath. From your down dog, inhale, raise your right leg to the sky. The toes and knee are pointing down towards your mat. You're reaching through your heel. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, we'll step our right foot up between our hands and let your back knee lower. So we're coming into our low lunge. This is where if you have blocks, I recommend placing those on either side of your front ankle. If you don't have any blocks, hands can either reach for your mat or let the hands rest on top of your thigh. Take a moment here just to make sure that front foot is forward enough so the knee stays behind your toes. The front of both hips are pointing towards the front of your mat. Take an inhale breath. On an exhale, we're going to straighten our front leg, lift our toes, coming into a half split. Now there can be a little bend in that right knee. This can be a big stretch for the back of that right thigh. We're just folding over our straight leg as much as comfortable. Flexing through that right foot, toes towards your forehead. Now we're just going to flow back and forth here. On an inhale, come into your low lunge and lift up the chest. As you exhale, straighten and fold, flexing that right foot. Now your pace here, just flow back and forth, following your breath. Inhaling into your low lunge and exhaling as you straighten and fold. Just a couple more times here. Next time you're in your low lunge, hold it here, keeping that front knee behind your toes. From here, we're going to curl the back toes, lift the back knee, pivot your back foot so it's parallel with the short edge of your mat, and we're going to rise up tall to a warrior two. So we're bending into that right leg, the hips and chest are open towards the left. You're reaching out through those fingertips, arms parallel to the floor. Take an inhale breath. We're going to reach that right arm up and back, reverse warrior. Good. From here, start to straighten that right leg. We're going to start to reach those right fingertips forward to the top of your mat, and then down to your knee, your shin, your ankle, and the left arm to the sky, triangle pose. Stacking the shoulders, stacking the hips. Take one more breath. And then inhale back up to your warrior two. On an exhale, cartwheel your hands to your mat, and we're just gonna step it back, downward facing dog. Take a breath. There can always be a little bend in your knees when you're in your down dog. It's more about lengthening the spine, trying to reach the tailbone tall. Take an inhale breath, reach your left leg to the sky. You want the left toes and knee pointing down towards the ground. Take another inhale. On your exhale, we'll step that left foot up between the hands and lower the back knee down. Finding our low lunge on the left side. Again, if you have blocks, they can be placed on either side of that front foot. Taking a moment to make sure the front knee is stacked over your ankle. The front of the hips are pointing forward. Just letting those hips sink forward and down. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, we'll straighten our front leg, lift the toes, half split. We're still pulling the left hip back, right hip forward. Flexing through the feet, toes to your forehead. Just like the other side, let's flow back and forth. Inhale, low lunge, lift the chest. Exhale, straighten and fold. Follow your breath, just moving at your pace. Just a couple more times here. And then the next time you're in your low lunge, pause there. Curling the back toes, the back knee lifts. Pivot on your back foot. Rise up to your warrior two. Hips are now open to the right. Bending into that left leg, stacking shoulders over the hips. As you inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Start to straighten your left leg. Exhale to your triangle. Left hand down to your knee, your shin, your ankle. Right arm to the sky. We want to feel length through the torso here. So the hips are reaching back, Crown of the head is reaching forward. And then we're reaching up to the sky with that right arm. Pressing into your feet. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to your mat and step back. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. From your down dog, inhale, raise your right leg to the sky. On an exhale, we'll step between our hands and then again, lower the back knee down. You can have those hands on your blocks or just down, reaching towards your mat. Now, you have the option here to do the same thing we did earlier, keeping your back knee down on the mat and just moving between our low lunge and our half split. Other option this round is to curl the back toes, lift the back knee up. So we're in a low runner's lunge. And then same idea, we would straighten our front leg, lift those front toes, kind of like a really wide pyramid, and just move back and forth, bending into that front knee. And then straighten and fold. This is a much deeper stretch for the legs. So again, you can always keep that back knee down. Listen to your body. What feels best this morning? Whichever version you've chosen, just flow back and forth, following your breath. And then the next time you're in your lunge variation, pause here. If you don't have that back knee lifted, lift it up. Pivot on that back foot and rise up to your warrior two. Take a breath here. Feel those feet rooted into the ground. On an inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Start to straighten your right leg. Exhale to your triangle. Right hand to the right leg. Left arm to the sky. One breath. Inhale back up, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel those hands and just step it back. Downward facing dog. One breath. Inhale, raise your left leg to the sky. On an exhale, step between your hands, option to lower the back knee, or again, keep it lifted. Hands either on blocks or mats on either side of that front foot. And then just flow back and forth. Inhale, your low lunge. Exhale, straighten, lift the front toes. Again, either doing this with the back knee lifted or on the mat, your choice. With any version you chose, we still want both hips pointing forward. So that's pulling the left hip back slightly, right hip forward. Next time you're in a low lunge, if you haven't done so already, lift the back knee, pivot the back foot, inhale up, warrior two. Front arm reaches up and back, reverse warrior. Straighten your left leg, exhale to your triangle, left hand down, right arm to the sky, one breath. Heart is pointing up. Inhale, back up, warrior two. Exhale, cartwheel hands to mat, step back, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, exhale it out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat, forward fold. On an inhale, rise up halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Take a moment, just pause, deep breath in, long exhale out. All right, we're gonna do one more little flow, but just a standing flow, staying at the top of our mat. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. If you have blocks, have those blocks just right under the nose. We're gonna step our left foot back, but just about halfway down the mat. So the feet are just a couple feet apart. Both legs are as straight as you can get them. We're coming into our pyramid pose. So the back foot is about at a 45-degree angle. The front toes are pointing towards the front of the mat. Again, if there needs to be a little bend in your right knee, that's okay. Hands are either reaching to the blocks or reaching towards your mat. We still want those hips to point forward. So you're pulling that right hip back slightly. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, just relax the upper body, folding towards that front leg. Soften the neck, head just dangles. Take one more breath here. And then putting most of your weight into your front foot. Take your hands or blocks to the top of the mat. We're gonna push off our back leg for a standing split. Now you could always kind of leave the toes on the mat, maybe try and lift and lower, that is okay. Or just trying to lift that left leg high as you can, but still keep the front of that left hip pointing down. So we're not really opening up or just trying to get the leg high as you can. We're keeping those hips even. You're pushing out through your left heel. The left toes and knee point down to the mat. Take one more inhale. On an exhale, step your left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. Big toes come together, little space between the heels. Very slowly come into a chair pose. We're lifting the chest, but sinking the hips down and back. Keeping the knees behind your toes, weight in your heels. Take one inhale. Hold your chair as you exhale. Inhale, stand tall, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Take a breath. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. We've got just one more side here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, either hands on your mat or on your blocks. We're gonna step our right foot back, just about halfway down the mat. That back foot's at about a 45-degree angle. Finding our pyramid on the other side. Trying to have both legs as straight as you can get them. We're pulling the left hip back this time, right hip forward. Take an inhale breath. On an exhale, relax the upper body and fold. Belly towards the thigh, nose towards your shin. This is a really big stretch for the legs, the hamstrings. So just use your breath here. Breathe into those tight spaces in the body. Take one more breath. And then putting most of your weight into your front foot, hands and blocks, move to the top. Push off your back leg, standing split, just lifting that leg high as you can, or you could always just leave those toes on your mat. Remember, just doing what feels right for your body. Keeping that right leg nice and straight. You're trying to reach your heel towards the wall behind you. Always keep a little tiny bend in your standing leg. Take one more inhale. On an exhale, step that right foot next to the left. Big toes touch. Slowly lift the chest, lift the arms, chair pose. Sink those hips back. Pull the belly in, lengthen tailbone down. One breath here. And as you inhale, stand tall. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Take a moment, pause. Notice how the body is feeling. Maybe that heart is beating a little bit faster. Maybe the legs feel a little tired, a little shaky. That's okay. Take an inhale breath, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Now you're welcome to go right to a down dog, or you can take a vinyasa flow. We didn't really do a lot of these today. So you can either go to your belly for cobra, or it's lower halfway, chaturanga to your up dog. And we'll all meet in our downward facing dog. Once in your down dog, just take about 2 full breaths here. One last good down dog stretch. And then when you feel ready, you can lower into a child's pose. Just letting the knees come out wide as comfortable and just melting the chest and forehead down. Take a few breaths here. Just letting that body relax and feel heavy on your mat. Take a deep, full breath in and a long exhale out. As you inhale, slowly come up to the hands and knees, and we are going to make our way onto our backs, however you would like to get there. Maybe it's rolling along the spine a few times, or just going right onto your back. We'll eventually just be meeting in stillness, hugging both knees into the chest. Letting the head and shoulders feel heavy. You can even rock a little side to side. And now continue to hug right knee to the chest and let your left leg straighten out onto your mat. Now we're going to come back to a stretch we did at the beginning of our practice today. Start to straighten that right leg to the sky, either holding on to the back of the thigh, or maybe you can reach around the back of the calf. Take a moment to just notice if this stretch feels a little bit different now. Maybe the leg is a little straighter. Maybe you're able to pull the knee a little closer to the chest. Just kind of noticing how this feels now compared to the beginning of our practice. Take one more inhale breath. On an exhale, slowly lower that right leg all the way down to the ground. Again, it might feel a little longer than the left. Go ahead and hug left knee to the chest. Feel that low back pressing down into the mat. And now begin to straighten left leg to the sky, either holding on to the back of the thigh. Maybe now you can reach around the calf. Again, notice the differences. How does this side feel? Take one more inhale breath. On an exhale, gently lower that left leg all the way down. And again, just pause. Feel the length through the legs. Maybe notice if the back of those thighs, the hamstrings, feel a little more open, maybe a little less tightness. And now go ahead and bend the knees, bring the feet onto your mat. Now, two options here. You can either start or come into what we started with by walking the feet wide as the mat and just let those knees come together to touch. Or another option is to walk the feet together, soles of the feet come together, and let those knees drop out wide. Again, just whatever feels best in your body right now. Just let your arms rest wherever comfortable. Just let your body feel heavy on your mat. No more work or effort is needed. Just come back to your breath. Allowing your inhales to become a little deeper and your exhales a little longer. If there's any other final movements you feel your body needs, go ahead and take those now before we give ourselves some time to just fully relax. Maybe it's taking some twists. Maybe it's a happy baby. And then as you begin to feel ready, you can just allow everything to release down to your mat. Just letting your body take up space. Relaxing every muscle from your head to your toes. For some of us, this may be our only moment of complete stillness for the rest of the day. So just give yourself this gift, this moment of just doing nothing. Just quieting your mind, letting everything around you just melt away as we come into our final pose, Shavasana. Begin to deepen your breath. Slowly invite movement back to your body by wiggling your fingers and toes, circling out your wrists and ankles. And then reaching arms overhead, taking a deep breath in, full body stretch. And then gently rolling on to one side. Taking your time, can begin to make your way up to a comfortable seat. With the eyes closed, hands coming together at your heart, sitting up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let out a long exhale out the mouth. One more time, biggest inhale all morning. And exhale it all out. Gently lower your chin to your chest. Taking this moment to just acknowledge your practice. Taking this moment to just be grateful to yourself for choosing to come onto your mat today. For choosing to start your day by taking care of you, by bettering your body and your mind. When you feel ready, you can blink your eyes open. Thank you all so much for joining me here this morning. Namaste.